Hey there everybody, Mazarok here, and today we've got bear rotation tips, some basics for beginners, core priority abilities. We're going to be going over the little things like that as you're learning and picking up the spec. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. It goes such a long way towards helping out the channel. My patrons, thank you so much for all of your support. If you wish to support me directly, there is a link down below. This is actually going to be an early access video for them. They're going to get it up to 24 hours in advance. And as well, there is going to be a written guide for the Tank Club. It's already written and submitted. It's just a matter of it having to go up on the site. So check the description box below. If it is live on the site, it will be down in the description box below. As well, Twitch, come watch me stream. I stream all tanks. And of course, there's a Discord link. Come on by, ask questions, have fun, hang out with a wonderful community full of great people. So with that, we're going to go into the core rotational abilities of Guardian Druid. Number one is Thrash. So this is full AoE. You strike all nearby targets. Its cooldown is variable by haste, so I don't want to say it has a 4.5 second cooldown. That's just what it is for me with my haste values. Now, in bear form, this will apply a bleed stacking up to 3 times, and this is very important, and it generates 5 rage. Now with the Blood Frenzy talent, Thrash also generates 2 rage each time it deals damage. This is by far your most important ability to be using at all times. You're opening with it the moment it comes into melee, a mob comes into melee. This is something you need to upkeep. You're using this on cooldown. The next ability is Mangle. So you mangle the target for physical damage. Now this is single target, but in Incarnation this will hit up to 3 targets and deals 20% additional damage against bleeding targets. This, your Thrash, does count for this. Up next we're going to talk about Maul. So Maul is a single target big hit. This can be made AoE with Raise. I do play Raise from time to time, depending on the dungeon, but I am in an Algathar Academy in Mythic right now, just to show you. I am going to be showing you an example pull of what to be doing during Incarn and all that fun stuff. This is an off-meta build. I'm well aware laser is the way to go for bear and higher end keys and all of that fun stuff. I just prefer playing something off-meta, and I really like this physical build. I think it's a lot of fun. So, sue me. Up next, we have to talk about Moonfire. Moonfire, now this is a 40-yard range. It's 43 for me because I have a talent that extends the range of abilities just a little bit. But this is a single target arcane damage dealing that leaves a dot. This is very, very good for pulling at range. But also, if you are playing the laser build with Twin Moonfire and everything else, you're going to get big healing from it. You're going to get big damage from it. And it is a very Moonfire-focused build. We have to also next talk about Ironfur. Ironfur is going to be your main rage spender. Now, Maul costs 40 rage, but so does Ironfur. And that value is decreased during Incarn, but that's not what we're here for right now. This is your active mitigation. Each stack of Ironfur will give you a buttload of armor. Now that armor is dependent on factors, but we're not going to talk about that. We'll give you a buttload of armor. So very, very important to be spending as much rage as you can on Ironfur. You can macro this into Thrash and your other abilities if you want, or you can just press it. This is an off the global cooldown ability. So while you are hitting Thrash, you can also hit Ironfur or other abilities as well. And then sadly next we have to talk about Swipe, because it's a thing. Swipe doesn't build rage, doesn't spend rage, it just deals AoE damage. And honestly, I am in the make Swipe do something camp, because this is the least of your priority abilities. Thrash, Maul, Mangle, Ironfur, upkeeping some Moonfires, very, very important. And that priority bump for Moonfire goes up a little bit if you are playing laser, but with the physical, it's not as important. With defensives, so I do run Pulverize. I think it's fun, and it's good for Tyrannical weeks. Rage of the Sleeper, Barkskin, and Survival Instincts are going to be your 3 main defensives, and you absolutely want to be using that before big damage hits come in. But let's get into just a quick example pull here, as we're going to just run in and we're going to deal with this. We're going to do an Incarn. So here I'm pulling things at range with Moonfire. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pop Incarn, Rage of the Sleeper, and we're going to start getting some big damage in. So for here, it's thrash, maul, thrash, mangle, thrash, maul, and I try and keep this. Now you do need a certain amount of haste to be able to do this, and then upkeep some Moonfires. Now, once initial threat has been gotten on an AoE pull, I very rarely swipe unless I don't have another button to press. Right, so during Incarn, your cooldowns are reduced by 50% on Mangle and Thrash, so very important to be upkeeping that as best as you can, and keep going around like that, and pepper in some Moonfires when you can. But basically with Tooth and Claw, you're going to get some free Maul procs, as you can see when they light up, so very important to be pressing those as they come up, and try to not spend as much rage on Maul wherever you can. Try and mostly spend it on Iron Fur, because that's going to increase your general tankiness. I know it's not as much DPS, and I know I do run the Thorns of Irons, which deals okay damage. 5.6% is okay. Really, I take it for pathing issues. If I could go down here and take Galactic Guardian and come around with the points that I spend, I would much rather do that, but I can't, so here we go. Problems with the Druid tree. But pretty much keep to those abilities. When you're opening a pull, swipe is useful for AoE damage, especially once Thrash is on cooldown. So if you make your Thrash pull, that goes on cooldown and you need AoE threat, putting in a couple of swipes in there as globals won't hurt. But once your pull is mainly set up, you're building rage, and you're in the flow of things, you're going to be cycling through Thrash, Maul, and Mangle. You will get plenty of Maul procs, don't worry about it, and upkeeping Moonfires whenever you can. In my opinion, Moonfire is better to upkeep than swipe once you have the certain amount of AoE threat put in, but once you kind of get into the flow with it, you can pepper in some swipes here and there. We're going to do a non-Incarn pull just to show you. So here I pull with Moonfire at range and open with a Thrash the moment I get into melee range, right? And you just kind of cycle through, upkeep some Moonfire dots. You're going to get a lot of sweet procs, right? And that's what you want to be cycling through as you go through. Please, I don't want to pull those. I just want to do this. And just keep moving through. And you're going to notice that once you have enough haste, this rotation is going to feel pretty good. You're going to get lots of resets on Mangle, which does already have a short cooldown. And always be thrashing. ABT, always be thrashing whenever you can. It deals good damage, and this is the nice bulk of your damage. Of course, you're going to want to be cycling through your defensives, but this is just a mythic 0, right? Just using this for testing purposes. But that is basically it. Keep going. Moonfire does take a higher priority if you're running Twin Moonfire, Scintillating Moonlight, Galactic Guardian, Fury of Nature, and all of that, because you're going to get big healings from it. So you're definitely going to be putting that much higher on the list, especially when you get those Moonfire procs. But that is kind of the basic core rotation that you need to kind of learn and go through. There are other nuances as you get into higher levels, higher keys, and kind of how to work those, but that should be the core that you need to know while leveling and while getting into tanking in, Mythic Plus and things like that. The rotation doesn't change a whole lot from single target to AoE. Thrash is still your main priority button. Mangle and Maul, very important. With this setup here, I have Tooth and Claw. So your auto attacks have a 20% chance to empower your next Maul, stacking up to 2 times. And it is free. Empowered Maul deals more damage, costs no rage, and very important. So that way you can use your rage on Iron Furs and keeping nice big Maul damage as you go through. But all in all, I think Bear is in a very good spot until you get up to bleeding edge keys. They can be incredibly tanky in mid-key content, so if you're looking to get KSM, Keystone Hero, or anything like that, you absolutely can do that with Bear, and they're incredibly fun to play once you start getting into the rotation and timing your incarns and timing your pulls around it. But like I said, this is for beginners to get the core rotation down. What are your main abilities that you need to worry about? And that is it. The same, if you chose Raise as well over Maul, which you absolutely can do, same priority still goes, but in heavy AoE pulls, if you have a nice stack of like 4 or 5 Iron Furs, you can start spending more Rage on Raise. But that is it. That is what I have for you today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for all the support. Have yourselves a good one, everyone. Happy tanking. Bye.